Look, walk in the room like, who asked? Everybody mad at the truth, I just pass. I don't load the clip, I don't cock it back. I just carry what you ordered in the paper bag. If the mirror got you feeling kinda triggered, ain't my fault that the picture getting bigger. You can hate the words, you can hate the tone, but I ain't pulling nothing, I just read it off the phone. Don't shoot the messenger, we just speak our mind. You could take it, you can leave it, but the message still arrives. Don't shoot the messenger, blame the story, not the scribe. If the truth hit hard, that's pressure, but at least you still alive.
Hello,
What up?
everybody. Welcome to episode 10. We are back. I am your host, Cullen, with my co-host, Justin.
What up, what up, what up?
Yep. Glad to be back. Glad to, give y'all some more debates, give y'all some more good topics to talk about. And so we're just going to give everybody a few minutes to start jumping in here and start watching. So we'll get started here in a minute.
Just
For
getting
some
everything
reason-
set up.
Okay, there you go. Instagram was being funny for a second there, but
Hey,
now it's going.
somebody's sending us all the loves. I think it's Miss Christian.
Oh, she actually is. I was hopping on her head for not watching the last couple.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious.
Oh, wait, I just shared it. I'm on the wrong account sharing it. We'll get started here in about 1 more minute. We got 4 viewers waiting already.
Hey, Christian said hush.
uh Sharing in one more group. I shared in a bunch of group texts.
I got the auto tapper
Christian's
working.
one. Cool. Yeah, we're going good on Instagram. I hate how it looks on Instagram. That's the only thing. It's that vertical. Instagram is so like weird where it doesn't let you like edit the vertical look. But it's all right. All right. You ready to get started?
Let's go. Let's get it.
Alrighty, like I said, welcome everybody to episode 10. Last week we had some good laughs with the good friends that were back, and we enjoyed having Zach and Derek.
Sorry. You enjoyed having me. It's cool.
Yeah, I enjoy having Justin and his argument himself on the podcast, of course. But it was nice having Derek back on.
I
here.
enjoy having your cool-headed, calm, collected self on here as well. I think we balance each other.
We gotta have some type of balance, or it's going to be chaos. So,
Yeah.
Which a little chaos isn't bad all the time, but we do need to have some bring back down to earth. So. But anyways, we got some good topics for you tonight. Some funny topics. Hopefully, we won't go off on too of a rant. But
Are we sure? Are you sure?
we may go on a little rant. You don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
We may go on a little rant.
It's been a minute since I had a crash out. We need to. I'm just saying.
No, we don't need no crash outs online. But anyways, let's start off with our first topic of the night.
Okay.
And this is one that is going to be funny.
Yeah.
because I have lots of opinions about this. I mean, I can't speak to one of them. a little bit, only from what I've seen on socials and what I've heard about, but you know, it's it's up in the air. You know, we'll see. But first topic of the night, we're doing the 80s versus the 2000s. Who had the best entertainment? Who had the best fashion? The best movies you can think of. So I'm gonna let Justin speak first to about his experience in the 80s. My camera's like unfocused. There it goes.
That's
His experience of growing up in the 80s, and then I can give him a little taste of mine, and we'll see where we differ. And then I may comment here and there on Justin's experience growing up. So I'm gonna let him go first. What's a typical weekend in the 80s look like?
Yeah. So first of all, it's to be fair, it's really more 80s and 90s for me. I'm an early 80s baby. I do remember the 80s, but I did have a whole decade of childhood in the 90s as well. But as far as like 80s and 90s, when cartoons are involved or what life was like, it's not a whole lot different. And the reason why is because things like the internet and a computer being in every household, that really didn't start until, I mean, really the end of the 90s when it was like everybody had one. I remember in 95, I knew a couple people that had computers, but I didn't have a computer yet in my house. You was considered, the better part of middle class if you had a computer in the house. But I was there in the AOL days, you've got mail, all of it. I saw it dial up the whole like screeching sound that took like 10 minutes to get you connected to AOL and other forms of internet that was going back then. But like Saturday morning, right? Everybody talks about classic Saturday morning cartoons. Yes, I lived that. I lived it, and it honestly was a great time to be a child because, and commend to my parents and all of the other parents because they didn't have iPads to throw at us when we was out in public. If we acted a fool in a restaurant, we got slapped in the mouth.
Gotcha.
Look, my
it
dad.
Seems universal.
Yeah, look.
It seems universal.
My dad's arm. It didn't matter where I was in church. My dad's arm could wrap around the whole church building and find the back of my head and pow, if I was acting up in church. I kid you not. He couldn't spank me in church. Like one time I was sitting next to my dad and I'm talking over here with my buddy. Next thing you know, I catch a giant like Charlie horse to the thigh. My dad just came down on my thigh like this. Pow! And I looked over and he just gave me that
was
dad
it
look.
Deserved?
I was acting a fool in church, but dads have that,
okay.
That dad look that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
mine was more of my mom. My mom had the fear of God in this a little bit. So
all my dad had to do, and you know how they say like, and you're a dad now, so you might get it, but like. If you hear silence coming from the room that your kid is in, like that's how you know, like. Maybe
yeah.
It's like
on.
that. It's like that on the opposite end too. There were times where I was like, the hairs on the back of my neck is tingling, and I'd look around, and my dad be on the other side of the yard looking at me.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh, I done messed up somewhere. It's like I felt this silence in the air, like on Bird Box when the birds stopped chirping.
Yep.
Yeah. So, as they say, going out to play until the street lights come on, like that was absolutely real. Like it was, there was no plan. It was like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going out to play. The plan was link up with whoever you could link up with, and you either walk or you're on your bicycle or your scooter or whatever, and you just gone. Play is adventuring. That's simple. Like, and that looked a lot of different ways, but yeah, like the classic Saturday morning cartoons, the original Nintendo, playing Mario on rainy days.
So what is some of these cartoons that we're talking about here?
Oh man,
I'm just curious of hearing what such an old head would be watching back in the day.
Transformers, G.I. Joe, Captain Planet. Captain Planet had a good theme song. Captain,
Captain
Planet.
Planet?
He's a
What is
hero.
Captain Planet?
Gonna take pollution down to zero. Well, Captain Planet was, you had these 5 kids, right? It was air, wind, earth, water, and heart, and or fire.
I thought you were about to say Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No. Fire, earth, wind, water, and heart. And they had these rings, and they would combine their powers, and Captain Planet would be formed. And he killed evil, like magical villains that dealt with like pollution. And it was like the early days of being better to our environment and cleaning up our planet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Captain Planet.
and that was another thing. Like back then, a lot of stuff had overarching themes that weren't so obvious as they are now.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of subliminals back then.
Gotcha.
I've recently been rewatching a early 2000s cartoon, so I wasn't necessarily a kid, but it was like literally year 2000.
What cartoon?
It's an anime called Inuyasha.
Oh,
and-
I've seen it.
Yeah, dude.
I watched that Saturday mornings. It was reruns,
Yeah,
but of course, it wasn't.
I
It was
like
like an old ancient cartoon.
Yeah. You know this about me. I like
anime.
doing anime rewatches and stuff like that. Like I recently blew through Naruto, and then I blew through Boruto, and I didn't hide from the fillers. I just powered through it.
I eventually had to skip those. That's a
I
whole
think
nother.
I can't say I never skipped a filler, but I definitely, once I realized it was a filler, I skimmed through the episode really quick. But anyway, but that's 2000s. I was still technically in the year 2000. I was still
we
like,
talking about the 80s. Go back.
yeah,
to the 80s,
I was
90s.
like
I wanna
15
hear
or
about-
16 in the year 2000. So, but yeah, going back to the
Golly.
80s. Yeah, going back to the 80s and 90s. Well, I mean, I graduated high school in 03. So,
Bruh, I was born in 97.
yeah.
So I was what? You said 05?
03. I graduated in 03.
03? I was like 6 years old when you graduated high school.
Yeah. And we friends. I think that's amazing. But yeah, so I remember waking up. If my mom woke me up for school, it was probably a good morning. If my dad woke me up for school, it was a no nonsense morning. Because my mom would I'd say 5 more minutes. She'd give me 5 more minutes. Nah, Dad. He turned the light on. He snatched you up by your collar, and he was like, "Come on, it's time to get up." And I remember eating my cereal one time, and I told my dad, "Hey, can I get some more cereal?" He goes, "No, we got to go." I'm like, "I'm still hungry." He looked me dead in my face. My dad said, "No, you're full. Let's go." And I remember thinking to myself, how you going to tell me if I'm hungry or not? I mean, it was such a dad thing to do. Nah, you're full. Let's go.
Yeah.
Of course, he
Time is money if you got somewhere to be.
yeah, he had to go to work.
So
He
yeah.
made sure I ate. I didn't go to school on an empty stomach.
I think I saw somewhere on the podcast. It was like when you were poor, you didn't have time to answer questions. You just had to go. So
I very much grew up in a "why, Dad? Because I said so" type of household. So,
my mom threw that line at me a few times. My parents did.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and now I understand a little bit.
absolutely. It's
So
funny
I
watching.
understand.
It's funny watching some shows from back in the day where I would have taken the side of the kid. Now I watch them as an adult, and I look at it and I'm like, I absolutely can see that the adult was right in this situation.
Yeah. I looking back at it, going in and out the house is like
Yeah.
stay in or stay out.
Oh,
Which
yes.
one you stay in
What
or
are we
stay out?
doing?
Which one you choosing? And see, like
What are we
back
doing?
then, I'm just like, bro, I'm just trying to get in, drink of water, then I'm gonna go back out, then I'm come in to cool off and stuff. But no, I understand now. It's either
Yeah.
you're in or you're out. You go in.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One or too many times you gotta stay in, and I mean that's just what
Yeah.
it is now. So,
So-
I'm seeing all the things, looking back.
So, yeah. So the 80s, like I said, we had G.I. Joe, we had Transformers, we had Captain America. Going into the 90s, it was a lot of your classic stuff like
Here, let me pull up
see.
some of your stuff that we got.
DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Inspector Gadget, which I think was 80s and 90s.
Yep.
But yeah.
Let's pull up this list of cartoons right here from the 80s, and I can tell you or not if I've heard of them or if they look stupid to me. a little handful of them. They look pretty dumb, but not gonna lie.
Well,
But
maybe,
we'll see.
Maybe you look pretty dumb. How about that? And
Let's see.
by the way, you have a lot of Dragon Ball figurines in the background. Dragon Ball is an 80s cartoon.
Listen, I ain't say everything is bad. All right, so what we got here in this top left corner up here?
So I think majority of this is 90s.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But that's okay. I mean, again, for me, it was more 80s and 90s. But
yeah.
I can't really see. Is there a way to zoom in on that first one to the top left?
Yeah, it's as far as it'll let me zoom.
Oh yeah. I can't
It's
remember
cut
the
off.
name of that one. Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one, but I definitely remember it. I didn't watch it as much, but I remember it. But then of course you got your classic Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah, I've seen Looney Tunes.
Transylvania Pet Shop, that was a pretty good one. Yeah. Fantasia wasn't really a cartoon so much. It was more of like
Was that a video game?
No. That was like this big musical thing that there was like a videotape Disney had put out, and it was just a bunch of like singing characters, or it was like classical music to Disney animations and stuff like that. But of course, everybody knows Scooby-Doo, the original Scooby-Doo, Inspector Gadget.
I love me some Scooby-Doo. Inspector Gadget, I've only seen the live action movie.
There was the Ghostbusters cartoon for sure. I didn't watch it that much. I was more of a fan of the Ghostbuster movie, but the Ghostbusters cartoon was good. It was a classic. I know a lot of people that liked it. Simpsons still running today, I think. It's the longest running animated TV show of all time. Pinky and the Brain.
I know.
Yes.
I remember Pinky and the Brain. That's not for children, apparently. I didn't.
Well, no,
that until...
you're thinking of Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was not for children.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy.
Pinky and the Brain, kinda, but Ren and Stimpy.
I remember. No, I mean, okay. I am thinking of Ren and Stimpy. We do with he's like reddish color. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what I'm thinking about. Pinky and the Brain. I've seen Pinky and the Brain too.
Yeah. But Brain was a bit of a. Sometimes he would. Yeah, he there was some still adult undertones there.
Was Kids Tom and Jerry really that old?
The Tom and Jerry Kids show? Yeah, I remember that for sure.
Was it? I remember watching that growing up.
Freakazoid, Animaniacs was really good. I liked Animaniacs because I felt like it was like a newer version of Looney Tunes. You know what I mean?
I remember Animaniacs briefly. I would watch all this at like at somebody else's house.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have like, I guess there was no streaming or anything back then, so it was just more of watching.
Yes. No. There was no streaming back then.
I mean, yes, I know there was no streaming back then.
Listen.
It was just like
people paid, just like people pay for magazine subscriptions or anime subscriptions or whatever. Back then, people paid for a subscription to something called a TV guide. And it told you what shows were coming on what channels at what time. And people built their life around that. People knew. They were like,
is that different than DirecTV?
Yeah, except, I mean, in DirecTV, you have a guide channel, and you can see it. It's the same thing. But this was a paperback book that was like this thick. And it would show you weeks and weeks worth of what shows come on at what time on what channels. And people would literally...
That's horrible.
Dude, it was better than... There used to be a guide channel that just scrolled on a loop. And you would have to go to the guide channel and just watch it like this, waiting for
your thing to pop up.
Yeah, but people would get the TV guide and literally like, all right, at Thursday 7:00, I got to be at home in front of my TV to watch this. Like, kids today never know the rush of getting to a commercial, having to run to the bathroom and use the bathroom as fast as you can, then go to the kitchen and get a snack, and then hopefully make it back in time before the commercial's in.
Bruh.
There was no
TiVo.
There was no pause in it. What played. And if you missed it, there was no YouTube to go back and rewatch it. If you missed it, you missed it. Period.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's a no. I'm going to take 2000s for a W on that one. And
for technology
80s,
purposes, the 2000s and beyond definitely have like better video games and stuff like that. Not that I don't love and have nostalgia for like the original Mario and even Sonic on the Sega Genesis and stuff like that. But dude, the graphics on video games and stuff are like, and where the world has gone with like you can play Fortnite with people on the other side of the country and or other sides of the world on different platforms, right? So I definitely give video games. I definitely give video games to the modern era. But like for me, movies, TV shows, music, all that, yeah, dude. For me,
2000s.
It depends on the show. It depends on the show, really. I think cartoons started getting a little out of hand by the early 2000s. Sort of catered too much to education and stuff. And I'm not saying that TV shows shouldn't be educational, but cartoons were like our escape. You know what I mean? Like we watch cartoons to get away from school, get away from the world, get away from parents. Like that was it was strictly for entertainment purposes.
I think towards the end of the 2000s / early 2010s, I think that's like the best era of cartoons for me. Because, we had, we had Regular Show. We had Amazing Adventures of Flapjack. Don't know if you ever watched that.
I've never even heard of that. What the
world? We had, let's see, what else do we have? That was like 2010, like 2009, 2010, like around that area. We had Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I heard of it, but never watched it.
Yeah.
You got to remember, 2000s, I was late teenager. I wasn't watching cartoons that much. I was thinking about girls, going on dates, doing all the nonsensical things. But I will say there was one cartoon of the early 2000s that I absolutely love, and it is still down in history as one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And and that's because in my opinion, it looked more and related more to the 90s cartoons, and that was Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I love Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yo, Courage.
They gave me nightmares as a kid. So
I loved it. I loved it. And Jason, my son, he was born in 2005, and we would literally sit down and I'd give him his bottle and I would put him in front of Courage the Cowardly Dog cartoons. And I'm telling you, it didn't matter how upset he was or how, like, that was his favorite cartoon as a baby. He would sit there and watch Courage the Cowardly. By then you could get like DVDs, and we had like this one Courage the Cowardly Dog DVD, had like 10 episodes on it. Man, that DVD got wore out. I mean, played from on repeat for that little boy.
You know what's crazy? Like Milo and like, my niece Trinity and then my daughter who's on the way, they will just never really know the CD world. And
Derek. No, I did watch Ed, Edd and Eddy, but that wasn't it, Derek.
Yes, Ed, Edd and Eddy was freaking fire. I love Ed, Edd and Eddy. They actually added Ed, Edd and Eddy to Fortnite. So, did they? But they only added Ed, which was the stupidest thing in the world. I'm like, who wants to play with Ed? I wanted Eddie.
Dude, Double D was the one, bro. Double D was the truth.
Double D, I always want to say she on accident, but it's he, because I know they're all dudes. But that man, he got stuck in the middle of their shenanigans. I feel like that's Derek. So I feel like that's Derek sometimes.
Derek is our Double D.
Yeah. So
which one?
I don't think we have an Ed.
Am I Ed?
No, you may be. I don't know, because you're a little bit of a mixture between both. Because you're like more of, you're the type that would get us into trouble, but also you would be the type that just ain't thinking what you're doing and just do something. So I mean, you like a little bit of mixture in between.
I got
Derek's like, Derek is definitely Double D. Yeah, there you go, Derek.
What was it? Three Stooges was another one. Now, I don't think Three Stooges was actually from the 80s. I think it was before that.
Is that a cartoon?
No. Well, there was a cartoon, but I'm talking about like the actual Three Stooges TV show. Larry, Curly, and Moe.
I've seen the movie. The 2010s movie.
No, there was a it used to be a TV show back in the day, and it was There was a black and white version and stuff like that. So it's before the 80s, but the reruns were really, really popular in the 80s and 90s on like Nick at Night and
I
stuff
remember,
like that.
you just unlocked a memory. I remember the black and white versions being on my
Whoop, 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 whoop,
dad's
whoop, whoop.
like. Yeah, I remember that being on my dad's shelf.
Yeah.
Like he had a shelf. Like my memory is kind of fuzzy from back then, but I remember him having just a bunch of videotapes and different cassette tapes and stuff on there. But yeah, Milo and my daughter Alora and my cousin. I mean, not my cousin. My niece Trinity. They will never ever just know about VCRs. They'll never get to experience it, and it's crazy, especially the orange cassette tapes. The orange VCR tapes.
The orange, that was what the original, the
Rugrats.
The Rugrats movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dude, I remember my very first movie ever. Do you remember the very first movie you ever watched in a movie theater?
Shark Boy and Lava Girl. In
Can
3D.
You guess mine?
Your first movie
ever in a movie theater.
And you were in high school in 2003.
I wasn't in high school. My dad took me to watch it.
Oh gosh. So you were young. I don't know.
It was the original. It was the original live action Ninja Turtles movie.
Was it in black and white?
No.
Was it?
You don't remember the original? It wasn't animated. It was a live action Ninja Turtle movie from.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I was just making. I didn't know if it was in color or black and white.
First of all, black and white was long gone by the time the 80s came around. Black and white is 50s and 60s TV, dog. Like that's my dad's generation.
Oh, so you never grew up with?
I grew up with black and white TV shows, but that was because I watched the reruns on Nick at Night with my grandma.
Oh, okay. So you just didn't have. I figured you had like not color TV.
Now I have owned a black and white TV before. I'm old enough to have owned a TV that wasn't a color TV.
Oh, okay.
But and those were.
But there was color TVs.
Oh,
out there, right?
Come on, man. Are you playing with me right now?
No, I'm just trying to get.
Like, bro, I'm only 41. 41. I ain't 51 or 61. Golly.
I'm just trying to gauge your time. So that's all.
93. There we go. Cullen said black and white. Thank you. Yes, I knew it was like 93. That was the first movie, and so
was
full
it,
circle.
when they looked weird, was it like they had
the big heads and everything? Yeah.
Okay, I've seen.
It was actually people
like memes
in these.
Of that.
Yeah. It was weird. They were in these bodysuits, but the heads were animatronic. So the actors had to like act with their bodies, but they didn't, and they had to act with their heads, but it was an animatronic mouth.
Interesting.
And fun fact, if you ever watch the second live action movies, Ninja Turtles 2, there's I can't remember his name. Yeah, so if you've ever seen the second one, I think it was Legend of the Ooze or something like Mystery of the Ooze or something like that. But there's a dude in there, he's a pizza guy. He was actually one of the stunt doubles that played in the original, but he ended up getting like a main character role in the second movie.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think who. I want to say it was Ernie Reyes Jr. I think that was the guy. Hang on, I'm going to Google that. I believe it was Ernie Reyes Jr. But
smacking your equipment all over the place.
No, that was my mouse. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hang on. Original. No.
So you were born in what year?
84.
84.
So I really don't have a lot of memories of the 80s until about 89. So that's why I say it's 80s. Really, that's why I say it's 80s and 90s, but I do remember some of the 80s.
And I was 97. My memory comes from the 2000s. So, and then Derek, I think, was born in like 2000, 2002, something like that. Just crazy. Maybe a little bit younger than that, actually. I mean, he may be younger than that. He was probably born in.
Okay, so the original Ninja Turtles movie came out in 1990, not 93.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
wouldn't even
then-
thought of.
Yeah, and my dad took me to see that. And then Ninja Turtles 2, the movie,
You got to see it in theaters.
Secret of the Ooze. Yeah, I went to see it in theaters with my dad.
What
Ninja
kind of?
Turtles
What did
2,
the theater look like?
It looked the same way it does now, really. It was, you had your popcorn, you get nachos, hot dogs, your drinks, whatever. Typical fold down seats, not the fancy recliners like we have now.
Was it like was it like Malco or something like that?
Back then, there wasn't like Malco or Cinemark
just
or
say
all these
theater?
other things. It was just each city had like their own independently owned movie theater. There was usually only like anywhere from 4 to 6 screens, not these big movie theaters now that have like
Okay.
15, 16 screens.
I didn't know if it was a building that just said theater. Did y'all have like glass cokes and stuff?
No, we still had that. We had fountain drinks back then. Yes, it was Ernie Reyes Jr. He played a pizza guy named Keno. So, yeah, Ernie Reyes Jr. if you don't know, is a legend in the action movie and martial arts world from back in that time. He wasn't as big as like Van Damme and Stone Cold, but he was primarily a stuntman that got a few like star or recurring character type roles.
Okay. Okay.
Derek telling us wrong information. It didn't come out in 93, Derek. It came out in 90. But there were three original live action Ninja Turtle movies. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No. But
So-
after hearing all of this,
A full
and
circle
hearing
moment,
kinda-
though. Let me share this last thing. Full circle, kind of wholesome
All right.
moment. The first movie I ever watched in movie theaters was the original 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. My son, who was born in 2005, I can't remember the year, but there was another Ninja Turtles movie that came out. It was animated, but it came out in the late 2000s, and I think it was just titled TMNT. But I took my son to watch it. That was his very first movie in a movie theater, was Ninja Turtles. So
oh,
that was a cool little
was very
full
cute.
circle moment. What'd he say?
he said,
Oh, okay. He said like 93. Whatever, man.
close enough, Derek. Close enough.
But like I remember
But
watching
at-
Jordan win his last championship.
Yeah, he was retired by the time I was.
I
watching
remember
basketball.
when he retired, played two bad seasons of AAA baseball, and then went back to basketball. I was there for the original Space Jam movie. Yeah. So that was the 80s and 90s, man. I loved it. I think me being a quote unquote Zennial, so I'm kind of like right in between Gen X and Millennial. I honestly believe we had the best generation because I got to live a little bit of that 80s childhood before the age of computers and cell phones and stuff like that. But I was still young enough when those things came around to the point where like I'm still, for the most part, well versed in that technology, and I got to see.
I think my
its rise.
generation. I think my generation is the last good generation. So I think everybody after me
I think
is,
y'all are the first of the bad generations.
incompetent. No, I think we are the last good generation where we know some of that old stuff. I appreciate some of the the old music.
If
You know,
y'all
I
know it,
listen
it's
to
because you had
Marvin
older
Gaye.
siblings that introduced it to you.
No, it was just my parents. I got that from my mom and stuff, and then I appreciate some of that old stuff, but then I have some of the new stuff, but then I don't like the new stuff. And so I think we're a good mixture. We know technology. I don't have to help people set up their computers and mics and run the equipment and stuff because
Yeah,
they
well,
don't
you
know
have
how
to
to work
help
their
me
phones.
sometimes. You don't have to help me wear my phone,
So.
but the computer stuff you do have to help me sometimes. But that's only because like this podcast equipment is like newer technology. I had to learn it.
See, so that's why I said we're the superior generation. But
Superior is listen. Let me ask you a question. let's be real. This is real life. You walking down the street and you about to get mugged. Would you rather have somebody from my generation next to you or Derek?
That ain't fair. First off, you picking somebody that ain't gonna be packing next to me. So
It ain't even about packing. We're talking about somebody that's straight throwing hands. Somebody that grew up in a generation where you had to fight for food, let alone fight to keep your money.
I'd rather have some younger person than an old head with me.
What?
Just because y'all body, like literally, I could probably kick you in your lower back or something, and then like your back give out. So I mean,
I'm done with this dude. Let me tell you something. Our generation grew up way tougher. I would, and I mean this with all the love in the world. 20-year-old Justin beats the snot out of 20-year-old Cullen. I'm just saying. And the same thing, 20-year-old Justin whoops the snot out of my 20-year-old son. But let's be real. My father at 20 years old beats the brakes off of me at 20 years old. Like the generations might be getting smarter, but they're getting softer. Like it's just that simple.
Yeah, it is a little soft. I can agree with that. We are getting softer as a generation. So,
and Derek, I didn't mean to. You're like the closest person I know to the generation after millennial. That's the only reason why I said your name. You know I love you, bro.
But anyways, we can let y'all debate on which generation is the best generation. You know, my generation, we grew up. I didn't grow up with YouTube until like, I think YouTube came out 2007. And
yeah, I remember the early days of YouTube. But yeah, tell me about the what's a typical 2000s weekend, bro?
Okay, well, let me run through this real quickly, and then so we can get to our next topic here. But
real quick, there is something that I used to do on the weekends that is still popular today. My kids did it, and I live right across the road from one, and that's the skating rink. Boy, I used to tear up a skating rink on Friday and Saturday nights, and that skating rink right around the corner is packed on Friday and Saturday nights.
All right, whatever. Let's get on from the old head.
You went to the skating rink too.
Let's go.
Like you didn't.
I did go to the skating rink.
I did. That's what I was saying.
We
have that in common.
That was one. Let's see, some of the things popular growing up. Skating rink was popular. We did that mostly not just on the weekends. It was a like a birthday party kind of thing.
Yeah.
So everybody was having a party or something. It was always at a skating rink. We had Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That was very popular. Some of the cartoons growing up, I was watching Reading Rainbow. I was watching Magic School Bus.
I remember Reading Rainbow. Reading Rainbow was around when I was a kid. So was Magic School Bus.
Between the Lions. Those were all educational stuff too. Trying to think. Clifford the Big Red Dog. George Shrinks. What is that? American Dragon. Jake Long. Jackie Chan series.
I remember the Jackie Chan series.
Let's see. Trying to think of some classics.
But like, what did you do for fun? Like outside of TV, like how would you entertain yourself on the weekends?
We'd either go outside and play football in the streets. We'd had a basketball goal that we would roll to the street, and we would play. That was back when your parents just kind of let you go, and they didn't really kind of keep tabs. Nobody had a phone either. She was like, "Be back on by the street lights turning on." 7 o'clock. About 7:15 whenever they started turning on, so you gotta be back in the house. Go to the park, play around, be stupid, jump off stuff, play in the dirt. We had PlayStation 2. We played a little bit of. It was before Black Ops and everything. Black Ops came a little bit later, but it was like back when it was just kind of story mode. It wasn't the Call of Duty that you kind of know now.
Yeah.
We play like Lego Star Wars and stuff like that.
Did you ever play GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64?
GoldenEye 007.
Yeah.
GoldenEye
hey, that was 007. The original multiplayer first person shooter right there, bro.
And we had we played Nintendo DS. So that was our little Switch.
Yeah.
That was our like first handheld because we didn't have enough money to probably, I don't know, to get PSPs and stuff that came a little bit later.
Pokemon Red, the
But
Pokemon Blue, the Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Gold.
yeah,
It was all
yep.
the same game, but slightly different in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know those games go for like hundreds of
Yeah, you can get
dollars
them.
now.
Yeah, you can get them on eBay for a whole bunch of money. I still have my original Nintendo DS. It's the
Nice.
first Nintendo DS that came out in color. It's I have it. I just don't have a charger for it. But
I used to
the
have
games
a
I
3DS.
have, okay. And then I have my original Game Boy Advance. Uh, and I think I only have like 3 games. I think I have Ed, Edd and Eddie. I have The Proud Family, and I have Shrek. So
I wish that Nintendo would release a almost like a Fortnite way of playing those original Pokemon games. Like
hmm
except like when you're running through the weeds, you're not running into computer characters, you're running into other
yeah,
players. But you can still
like
go through the
Pokemon Go.
In a way, yes. But even Pokemon Go, like you weren't really playing other people. You weren't really battling other people that much.
I mean, unless you go to
Until
like one
later.
of those, yeah, they developed it later where you kind of went to
Yeah,
like the little
but like
spots.
imagine the original Pokemon games, right? You had your story
hmm
mode, but you tried to avoid the grass because sometimes you just didn't feel like dealing with the random Pokemon that would attack you, right?
Yeah,
You can still do that. You can play the story mode, but anytime you're in the grass, you could bump into instead of a random computerized character, you could bump into a random person who is also in the game and y'all have to battle each other. And you can
yep,
steal each other's Pokemon. Like the rules still apply. So you get them down to 1%, you can steal their Pokemon and win the battle and keep it rolling.
yep.
And let it look and play exactly like the original Pokemon games. I think that would be cool. Except,
Yeah, that sounds
you
cool.
got other people in there. So it's still like a 2D world, but it's obviously better graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, Nintendo's. I think they've fallen behind in the world. They tried with the Switch, but I mean, it's still
Yeah.
just not one of the top two. It used to be top one, but
Yeah, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, they used to all be kind of pretty good. I think things fell off when Nintendo came out with the Wii U because it wasn't really a different console. It was the same console. There's
okay.
really not much difference between the Wii and the Wii U.
Yeah, we had I played the Wii at a friend's house, but I never played the Wii U.
It's the same console. Wasn't much anything. And to be honest, I really don't know. Uh, you know, Almost like back in the day when you had the PS4 and then you had the PS4 Pro. It was the same console, just one had like a bigger hard drive or something like that. That
Yep.
might have been the difference between the Wii and the Wii U. And then the Switch was cool. I felt like the Switch was giving them a little bit of a comeback because it could be handheld or on your big screen or whatever. But yeah, PlayStation has taken over everything. Most Xbox people have swapped to PCs at this point.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
my wife, I bought her an Xbox, and that's how she played Fortnite. But even now, she's on PC. So
yeah, that's what I have heard that she's enjoying it. So, but to pull us off of this first topic, y'all let us know in the comments what do you like better, those old heads versus the young bucks, 80s versus 2000s. Tell us your story. What you watch growing up, what you listen to. I've seen some of the way y'all dress. It's a little bit crazy. Bright colors, tacky everything, but
Hey.
oversized everything.
our clothes from like the late '90s, early 2000s are coming back. That's sort of what's popular now. You see people with the big parachute pants and the cargos and stuff like that. That's the style again. No more skinny jeans. I'm so glad. I never got down with skinny jeans
No.
anyway.
I never liked skinny jeans either. But to bring us over to our second topic of the night, we're gonna have to go through this pretty quickly. To
Dang, we've talked about that for a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to get you to stop talking, but you just kept talking because you just
Dude,
don't stop talking, bro.
it's a good topic. Like it's
It is a good topic. It's a good topic. We just let it go with the flow. But to get on to
Derek, you
our
don't get an
second,
argument because you weren't even born in the '90s. Like you wouldn't
you said
know.
2000. Oh yeah,
You can't
I
even
don't know.
debate,
But to get to our
youngin.
second topic
Oh,
of the
nephew
night,
Derek over there.
uh, it's going to be a serious topic, but we're also going to keep it nice and you know, not try to be. When people talk about this, they could either be really offensive, like on purpose, or they can. There's a difference between trying to offend and also telling the truth, and the truth offends. And so, the topic that we're going to talk about tonight is biblical immigration. What does that look like? What does the Bible say? What are some examples that we could talk about? Because we see it in the media now, and it's a very hot topic and sensitive topic to those who are living in the world right now. Um, as you see, ICE is going through, and with Trump, bro said, "Voice your opinion in the chat." And when I
Derek, 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 you know we. Excuse me, excuse me, Derek. You know we love you, bro. You know it's all love.
but anyways, dang, Derek, you threw me off. That was funny.
That
But
was funny. We miss you, bro. Can you just get? Can you just hurry up and figure out, your stuff with life and get back on this with us?
uh, but
Because we love you.
we do love you, Derek. We love you, Pookie.
We love you.
But he probably gonna drop off the live right now. But
I know.
anyways, we're getting off topic. Let's try to get back on topic. We're gonna be talking about biblical immigration. What does that look like? You know, Trump right now is kind of pushing hard for immigration, deportation of illegal immigrants. What does that look like? Where does grace meet law, and mercy, meet what's happening right now? And so, Justin or me, you want to go first? You would rather me go first? I have some points that I wanted to just kind of read off of doing notes and stuff. And so,
Yeah,
but
I just want
if
to
you
make
have
one
something as
quick point
well,
about it. Yeah, I just have one quick point, and everything needs, you, even with the Bible, you have to understand context, right? So we have a problem with on both sides of the aisle, whether you're a preacher or whether you're an atheist. People love to cherry pick Bible verses to fit their narrative. All right, you can't do that. You have to understand context. And back then, countries weren't necessarily laid out the way they are now. It was primarily city states, and cities had walls, all of them. And guess what? There were people standing guard at the gates of those walls, and random strangers weren't allowed to just walk in. Like people were vetted and asked, "What's your business here?" before they just let them in. Now, and so I want people to understand that. I do think there needs to be a level of grace shown to all immigrants from a personal standpoint. But at the same time, people should enter our country legally. There are people out there that do it the right way, and there are people out there that do it the wrong way. And unfortunately, our laws say that you cannot come in illegally. Therefore, we can legally deport you. Do I think sometimes things get out of hand? And I think absolutely they do. But I think they get out of hand because of, I want to make sure I'm very careful with my words here. I know, right? Justin being careful with his words. It's a new concept. Um, but I also understand this is a sensitive topic. So I think any situation can get out of hand from escalation on both sides. If
hmm
you are an illegal immigrant and ICE shows up at your door, right? You could run away and you can fight it, or you can accept it as it is and go about your business. No one gets hurt, no one dies, and it sucks, especially if you were, for the most part, a good human being. But at the end of the day, you broke a law. Like if I speed and a cop tries to pull me over and I say, nah, I ain't taking this ticket, and I run from it, well, now as the criminal in the situation, I've escalated the situation. And I'm not saying there aren't bad cops out there. Absolutely, there are bad cops out there. I used to be a cop in the Air Force. I have seen firsthand what happens when power goes to people's head. But I don't think I think the media makes it out to be a much larger percentage than it actually is of bad cops. I think the vast majority of cops are good people that are put in dangerous situations every day, and they're just trying to get home to their families. So I made it last week. I made a little side passive comment, but I want to be very clear in this, and I'll look at the camera when I say it. The lady that was shot for running over the ICE agent or trying to run over the ICE agent, what was her name? Renee Good or something like that. Renee Good had no business being there to begin with. She had kids, she had a family, and she was putting her nose where it didn't belong. And because of that, because of escalation on both sides, she lost her life. And she had nothing of value to bring to that situation except for to be an antagonist. So when it comes to stuff like that, I think people should know when they should protest, where they should protest, and what lines should be crossed when and shouldn't be crossed when protesting. You can protest from a distance. You could absolutely do it. But when you're putting yourself in the middle of an active investigation/raid, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping that person that you're trying to protect. You're not helping yourself. And you're dang sure not helping the police just trying to do their job and go home. So the primary point of it is understand that there are laws. As people, should we show grace to immigrants? Yes, the Bible says that we should show grace to foreigners and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean open your gates and just let people come in unvetted. Because since the beginning of time, people have been getting vetted before they go into a city. Why? The cities have walls for a reason, for protection. The leader of the city has to protect its citizens. That's how it's done. Now we're on a much larger scale than we were back then. It's not just one 10-acre size city. It's a massive country, and the gates and the walls are much bigger. Therefore, we have to do things on a different scale, but still serves the same purpose. And that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. And to bank off that point, and also just add a little bit to it, speaking on the biblical terms, I've seen the term a whole lot when people talk about immigration, is that Jesus was an immigrant. But really, if we take a look at Scripture, Jesus didn't really immigrate anywhere. It's not, he went places to places, but they were all under the Roman Empire. And so even when he left, he left Nazareth and went to Egypt when he was young, it was not like crossing into Mexico and anything. And even then, Jesus calls us to obey the law of the land. Mm-hmm. And even Jesus's parents, when they were young, they were called to a census. And so literally they followed the law and went to report for a census. And
they had to go back to their hometown and report in. That was what it was for tax purposes. So
yeah, and so when people throw around the term Jesus was an immigrant, they were trying to use it as Jesus. We wouldn't I think people have argued we would deport Jesus if he was here, but we have to look at the real picture. Jesus was perfect. He never broke the law.
Right.
And so if Jesus was here during this time, he wouldn't break the law. And so Jesus followed everything to a T, regardless if he may have seen it just or not. But Jesus followed the law. Jesus, paid what was due.
Let's be clear. There are things in the Bible where Jesus, I'm going to put this in quotes, broke the law. Like,
civil obedience.
Like healing on the Sabbath, right? But that wasn't the Roman law, which was the overarching authority. That was
that was tradition.
It was civil obedience and tradition through the Jewish synagogue at the time.
Yes.
And the only reason I said that is because I know there's going to be argumentative people that's going to say that's probably going to bring something of that nature up. I know. Fighting against the man-made traditions of the Jewish synagogue of the time and breaking the actual Roman law are two completely different things.
Yep. So what we see here is going on as a Christian, you should support the land of the law. But the only time as a Christian that you should stand against the law is if the law goes against
God.
what God says. And
Well, and
so,
that's the argument people are trying to make. They're trying to say that immigration and open borders or closed borders goes against, what God says in the Word. But they're
yeah,
again they're
but
doing it by cherry picking verses and not looking at the context of things.
yeah, and during biblical times, people, like you said, cities had walls. You weren't getting in there until you know who they knew who you were. And
Right.
so, as a
And guess what?
Christian,
There was weapon control. A lot of times people were told, even in the Wild West days, people were told to leave their guns at the edge of the city, and they could pick them up on their way out. People were told to
yep,
leave their swords, their daggers at the city gates, and they could pick them up on the way out. So I'm not saying I'm for gun control or things like that, but I'm saying that things of that nature have been going on forever. It's not a new concept.
yeah, yeah. And then I put something else in my notes. I put a big point is what, as a Christian, I would like to press is that Christians, we're not stuck between just two options. Neither they say ignore the law to love people, or ignore hurting people to uphold the law. I feel like it should be a little bit in between. We should have compassion for those who seek refuge in our country, but we also, as Christians, should still uphold law. And those who, don't want to uphold law want lawlessness, and we shouldn't. We're not called to that. And so, if you go underneath the name, the title Christian, your view should align with what Jesus says. And so you have to meet the policy and everything with mercy for those who are under that right now, and who are maybe a nice guy who's living down the street, and he's waved at you every day, and he may have done some things for you, but at the end of the day, the law is the law. You can
Yeah.
feel grace and mercy and compassion for that person, but at the end of the day, you have to follow the law because that's the law. And
Yeah.
even Jesus follows the law. And so our goal as Christians is to be like Jesus. And so
Yeah. I want to add to
people
your
like to
point too.
weaponize.
I want to add to your point of the whole Jesus being an immigrant thing, and how he would move from Egypt to all these other places, in Damascus and all these things. Again, that's like moving from Mississippi to Alabama. It's a different state, it's a different city, but it still falls under the United States of America. Back then, the
Yep.
Roman Empire had all of these city states under its control. So he
Yep.
wasn't he wasn't immigrating between countries at all. Because let me tell you something. If Jesus had gone from a Roman Empire state into, say, a Turkish Empire state or a Muslim controlled state, he would have absolutely been dealt with as an illegal immigrant, and they probably would have done way worse to him than the Romans did.
Absolutely.
So, just saying.
And
That's why context is important.
yeah, and something else that I want to mention, this is not a blanket statement to all ICE agents and everything that they do, because yes, there are some out there who are fast to the trigger.
Absolutely.
They're a little bit rougher than they should be with people, and a
Absolutely.
little bit less compassionate. And so that's not a blanket statement to all of that, but as a Christian, we are to follow the law, we are to uphold the law, and we're to support the law. And unless it goes against what God says, in which immigration does not.
Right.
But if you look at it as something like segregation, and back then, laws that were unjust in God's eyes, yes, civil obedience during that point. But at this point in time, we're not looking at something. And something as I've been deconstructing it myself, politically and everything else, I wouldn't consider myself left or right, but more of somebody, my beliefs, where my biblical beliefs come from, it leans more right.
Yeah.
And that's just looking at policy and everything and comparing it to scripture. Do I think that the Republicans are Christians? All Republicans are Christians? No. Do I think anybody in Congress really truly believes in Christ? I don't know. I don't really, know. Do I think all Democrats are satanic losers and stupid and idiots. No, I think some of them are really good, hardworking people. I have some friends that are Democrats. I have family that are Democrats, and so I
Yeah,
don't.
they just believe slightly differently on policies.
Yeah, and
I've said this before. I believe the vast majority of Americans are like us. They sit somewhere in the middle, but lean one direction or the other.
yeah, and I mean, as if I was not a Christian and I didn't see things through God's eyes, I could 100% understand where some of them are coming from on the other side of the line. They don't see things through Christ-like. But as a Christian, I see things through the eyes of Jesus and the eyes of the Bible. You know, abortion. All of that. Homosexuality, adultery, not just even just the popular sexual sins and stuff like that, but we should see all things through Christ's eyes. And I've been deconstructing myself lately. I wouldn't call myself a MAGA person either. I honestly, I would prefer JD Vance over Trump. I know Trump he has certain aspects about him that Vance doesn't. That um that dog kind of, I guess that's the best you could say.
He got that dog in him.
Yeah, he got that dog in him is what I was about to say. But I feel like he lacks empathy sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like seeing the ICE hype videos. I mean, it's funny, but also not really at the same time. I think that's just showboating and doing that for no reason. I think Trump is very arrogant, and I think he is prideful, and I think he's all about himself, and he likes to hear his name called and praised. Yeah. And so over time, I used to overlook some of those things, but now I am one to criticize when I see something that needs to be criticized, but I'm also one to support something when I say support. And just like kind of we saw back in the State of the Union address, he said a general statement in which all Americans in that room should agree with. But people,
just out of protest, the left didn't stand for it.
Yes. And so I feel like as a
in that moment, was Trump pandering and trying to make a point? Yes, it was obvious.
Yeah, he was.
But I think you do more harm to yourself by not standing for that, because now, I mean, that alone could have won the election for all Republicans in the primaries coming up. And
so it just kind of just shows that they hate him more than anything else.
I truly believe they hate Trump more than they love America.
Yep, absolutely. And even if it's something good that he does, they won't support it because it's coming through his mouth.
Right. Absolutely. By the way, I also believe in fairness. And this is a fact that you may not know. Do you know that under the Obama administration, there were 56 deaths due to ICE raids?
Did not know that.
They didn't get talked about.
Even then,
not one news article. By the way, Obama gave Tom Homan an award for his, I can't remember the name of the award, but I think it was Meritorious Valor or something like. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but Obama recognized Tom Homan, the current head of ICE, for a job well done, and for being a good ICE agent, and for being a good leader. So, and now Tom Homan is like public enemy number one when it comes to immigration, other than Trump.
Yeah, and what I kind of just to end on, I feel like people, they like the media and everything with ICE raids and stuff. You'll see these clips. Like I saw one, it was a little boy crying, and ICE agents holding him, and then you see like CNN or something says, ICE contains little boy, like 2-year-old toddler, during a raid and everything. But
and that was a false narrative.
It was a false narrative. It was the father was an illegal immigrant, and he abandoned his 2-year-old child in the street, and ran off and ditched his child.
And ICE was taking care of the child until they could get him reunited with his
and bought him McDonald's and stuff through the drive-thru and some ice cream and stuff. But I feel like we're living at a time for both sides that are painting media in which to to pin each other against each other. And I believe this is just all the devil's work, and the devil will use anything. So we're not fighting a battle of flesh and blood. We're fighting a battle of, it's a spirit. It's a spiritual warfare. And so what the devil is using, another thing, immigration. Everybody, they're playing on our emotions, and so they're hoping our emotions overcome facts. And so whenever we lean more on our feelings than the facts, we believe our feelings as facts. And so that's what is happening right now in America. And really, we need to take a look and step back and say, what does Jesus say? What does Jesus say about this topic? Am I thinking more about how I feel more than what is actually true? And so people don't want truth,
And I would
regardless
tell people,
of where it comes from.
And I would tell people for sure, don't put yourself in stupid, dangerous situations.
Absolutely not.
How many of these ICE deaths could have been avoided if American protesters had not put themselves in the middle of something that was going to happen, whether they wanted it to or not? I'm not saying that listen, I'm all for protesting. I love disagreements when they're done the right way. But if you're not going to bring anything of value that can actually help a current active situation happening, then you're just getting in the way and you're putting your life in danger. And it's not worth having yourself taken away from your kids. In the case of Renee Good, that was one of the biggest arguments. A mother is not with her children today. That mother put herself in the situation. Like, she could still be with her children the next day.
There's a time and place.
Yes. Email your senators, email your congress people. There's a way to fight these battles as American citizens, as regular citizens that aren't in Congress, right? You can you can lobby for votes for laws to be changed.
Yeah. If I disagree with something that is happening, I have a family. I cannot put myself in that position of where I could not come home that night. And so regardless if she was in the right or wrong, whatever your opinion is, she shouldn't have put herself in that situation. And the facts of the matter is she put herself in that situation, and she ended up in harm's way. If you know that, for say the ICE agent, we're not even going to argue if they're right or wrong, but if the ICE agent, that there is lots of crap going on during these raids and people are getting hurt, why would you put yourself in a situation where somebody is quick with the trigger
just so you could be the next martyr? No, thank you.
Yeah.
I would rather.
It's not worth it.
I would rather sit at the dinner table with my kids the next day than to be a martyr for a whole movement.
At the end of the day, what happened? Nothing. At the end of the day, kids ain't got no mom, and nothing has changed.
That's right.
And so it ain't worth it.
It's not effective. The point is that way of doing things is not effective at all. It's just not. There are effective ways to make changes in our country, and that's not it. It has nothing to do with right or wrong of what happened. What happened was a mother was taken away from her children because she put herself in a dangerous situation. She could still be with her children today had she just stayed home that day.
Yep.
Because whether you think it's right or wrong, it was legally justified. Right or wrong's got nothing to do with it. Legally justified is what matters in the courts.
Yeah.
And your opinion on it is, I'm sorry, and this hurts people's feelings, but your opinion on it, just like mine and your opinion, everybody got opinions, right? These are just opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Our opinions on it, at the end of the day, mean nothing. Your opinion on it, Renee Good's opinion on the situation, got her killed because she decided to put herself in a dangerous situation.
As a Christian, we should not lead with just emotion.
That's right.
We should, I'm speaking to our people right now, I know other people think differently, but our people, we should not lead on just emotion alone. We have to lead. We have to walk and think Christ-like. And, we have to have discernment. And when we see some situations like this, we need to not be so quick to hop on it. Like, you'll see some type of propaganda out there on the news media. As a Christian, you should not be quick to emotion. You should be quick to thought and prayer, and you should analyze what's the situation before opening your mouth, because out out of your mouth comes stupid and foolish words all the time, and that's what Scripture tells us. And so we need to we need to lean less on our understanding and more on Christ. And so to close this out, I just want to say it's a sensitive topic, and I know that a lot of people are hurting right now. A lot of people are scared, and my main thing is to them, they should be on their knees praying, and the Lord will provide. The Lord will come through. But, the devil uses our differences of opinion to divide us as a country, to divide us as a people, Democrat, Republican, black, white, Hispanic. The devil will use any of our cracks and differences to go against each other. But
absolutely,
we as a nation need to have mercy and compassion for those who are getting deported. But we also, as Christian men and women, shall uphold the law of the land, and we need to follow in the steps of Christ. And that's all I really have to say left on the subject. As a Christian, yes, you should believe in
legal
having
immigration.
Legal immigration. So,
yep. All right.
Anything else you want to say
before we close completely?
Okay.
We're gonna end the show on a light note, because we're gonna have Cullen live react to what I feel is the greatest opening theme song to any cartoon of all time. So,
oh Lord,
go ahead and roll it, Cullen.
Hold on.
Do you have the whole YouTube link that shows the opening theme, or just the song?
I have the whole thing. Here
Okay,
we go.
good.
Shadows, darkly on the night. Somewhere some villain schemes, but his number's up. 3, 2, 1. Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck.
Let's get dangerous.
Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck. Out of smoke and he appears, the master of surprise. Who's that cunning mind behind the shadowy disguise? Nobody knows for sure. Bad guys are out of luck. Here comes Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck.
Let's get
We're finna get flagged for playing this video.
Darkwing Duck. Darkwing Duck.
Tell me that is not a phenomenal opening theme. Yeah, you can end it. That is the greatest opening theme of all time.
It was okay.
dope.
It looks like a off-brand like DuckTales / Goofy movie. Like if the Goofy movie was filmed in the 80s, that's
Well,
what it would look
DuckTales
like.
and Darkwing Duck was kind of out. Sort of. DuckTales maybe a little bit after that, actually. But it was supposed to be like a fun sort of spoof on like Batman. Because at the same time, the
No.
original Batman animated series was playing.
Gotcha.
Wait, what did it say? This
Yeah.
opening don't got nothing on the Johnny Test theme song? Bruh.
Yes, bro. Johnny Test. And Johnny Test was okay, but
Ben
Danny
10,
Phantom,
Danny Phantom.
Jimmy Neutron. Yes, bro. Yes, thank you, Derek. Thank you for coming through.
Darkwing Duck is the GOAT. I'm not saying those other things aren't good, but Darkwing Duck is the GOAT.
Yes, Johnny Test was pretty cool. It was a little bit later in my time, but I did like Johnny Test. Original Ben 10. Yes, bro. Ben 10.
All right.
I literally have freaking Omnitrix on my Apple Watch. And
Oh,
so,
yeah, you do. Well,
I was
I
trying
want to
to-
end the show by saying just one last statement, and that is 3 very important things. Okay? Pineapple does not go on pizza. Trump is your
Yes,
president.
it does.
And cereal is just cold soup.
Is she there?
Nobody cares, Cullen.
Bro, everybody cares. Look,
Nobody
you can
cares.
choose that. Yes, bro. Everybody cares. Thank you.
You get me a
But thank y'all for
the
watching.
original Power Rangers communicator, and then we're on to something.
Whatever. But thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for sticking with us this far, episode 10. And so we'll see y'all next week. And
Yep.
love you guys. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Telling of mystery, champion right.
I played the wrong video.
That's okay. Hey, I thought you was gonna let it play out. Let's go.
No, I ain't finna get done again. But
Walk in the room like, who asked? Everybody mad at the truth, I just pass. I don't load the clip, I don't cock it back. I just carry what you ordered in the paper bag. If the mirror got you feeling kinda triggered, ain't my fault that the picture getting bigger. You can hate the words, you can hate the tone, but I ain't pulling nothing, I just read it off the phone. Don't shoot the messenger, we just speak our mind. You could take it, you can leave it, but the message still arrive. Don't shoot the messenger, blame the story, not the scribe. If the truth hit hard, that's